Okay, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back here with Shafin Tejani, CEO of Victory Square, a company that you know has its tentacles in all kinds of really cool, high growth, disruptive sectors, including blockchain, the metaverse, digital health, and a whole bunch more. So Shaf, thanks once again for coming to join us.
Thanks for having me.
I took a quick look at one of your recent updates on your website. It's an October recap. There's a few things that stood out that are pretty exciting. 6 consecutive quarters of positive net income and earnings per share, record income of just under $20 million, 2 special common share dividends in 21, 1 for Game On Entertainment Technologies, and 1 for Fantasy 360 Technologies. So congrats, first off.
Okay.
And in spite of this progress, you know, we're still in a soft market for microcap stocks. Something that I was very happy to see is that you guys have been consistently buying back shares. So certainly a good signal for investors. I mean, do you have any comments about the share buyback you'd like to make?
Yeah, no, a couple of things. One, with that update, I think we're extremely happy with the momentum. We've said this before. Last year was an inflection point, and last year was a big inflection point for us. And mentioned fans being spun out. I think investors can expect to see that continued positive momentum on a go-forward basis. With respect to the share buyback, again, we announced, I think, a normal course issuer bid in January of this year, where we would step into the market from time to time to buy the stock, which we started doing at the end of September and did throughout October. The process is a headache, though. There are a number of limitations that we have in doing so, but it is something. Again, we announced it, and so that we would have that tool available, and we exercised it end of September, beginning of October, and we'll continue to assess the market, on a day-to-day basis. And if we need to step in, we'll step in.
Well, that's awesome, and it's nice to see that kind of support, and I'm sure shareholders appreciate that as well. Going into the news, the landscape. So obviously the trending sector right now is clearly blockchain. There's a lot of interest. So let's start the interview right there. We heard you lightly talk about the Bison Fund. So there's not a whole lot available online. So can you just give us a little bit of an overview? What is it? How does VST fit in?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Just taking a quick step back, though, I'm not sure if a lot of investors know that, we've been in the Web3 blockchain space, I think since 2012, 2013. So we actually also, out of VST, we launched the first publicly traded blockchain company in 2015. So this is a sector that we've had a tremendous amount of experience in, hosting conferences when nobody really was paying much attention to the space. So it's something that we've been in, something we have a great wide network in, and something we believe in long term. More recently with some of our existing investments. So I think a lot of investors are familiar with Covalent. This was a project that was founded in VST. Covalent's built a product which is kind of like the Google for blockchains. And as a big investment, we've been working in tightly with that team because they're collecting a tremendous amount of data that allows them to see what projects are getting critical mass. So Covalent's a chain agnostic product. So they're seeing what projects are getting critical mass on Ethereum, on Solana, on Cardano, on Polkadot, and all the other different chains, Near, Polygon. So they're identifying what new projects are gaining traction, but they're also getting access to invest into these companies early. So in partnership with them, one of the things we've been looking at is a fund that they've created called Bison, where we're getting early access to some of these next exciting projects. And again, over time, we believe these projects are going to give investors the greatest chance of asymmetrical returns. Now, not just resting on that, the Bison Fund or that project with Covalent, Victory Square is plugged into a number of other areas. So again, just one side note, if you look at our news releases in 2017 and 2018, we were hosting these D10E conferences and world blockchain conferences globally. So Kiev, Dubai, Gibraltar, New York, London. And through that, we established relationships with a lot of other really exciting projects. Now, these projects would be issuing tokens, which people would refer to as an altcoin. And, for us, again, because we believe long-term in these spaces and we've been watching these teams build and see critical mass grow, aside from Bison Fund, Victory Square itself has been incubating and investing in a number of really, really exciting projects in that altcoin space. And because there's friction for a lot of investors to to get access to those types of projects, what we're in the plan of doing is putting all of those into a VST sub, so that our investors don't miss out. They can get exposure to this exciting sector, but by being able to very easily and comfortably buy, the Victory Square, shares in Victory Square.
And that's the perfect segue. So the next thing I was going to ask is about Covalent. So the token is CQT. Now, something investors are curious about, do you plan on staking this token, earning interest, or is it something you'd prefer to hold kind of for speculative appreciation reasons?
So we believe in this company and in this product long term. And we're also working with them, again, on being able to leverage this product to identify exciting new projects. So again, big believer in this project long term and the team. With respect to our CQT tokens, we're staking them. So again, not liquidating them. I think the staking percentages are between 12 and 15%. And so, yeah, that's our strategy with that.
That's a good interest rate, and certainly very appetizing in comparison to what's out there on the market right now. So, okay, 2022, we're almost there. Another big year ahead. Can you kind of share perhaps some portfolio companies you're particularly excited about going into the new year?
Yeah, I mean, we're very excited about Fans Unite, Game On, and Fantasy 360 Technologies. So the ticker for Fantasy 360 is VRAR. Very excited for those three projects. I think in the case of Fantasy 360, everyone's been hearing all this talk and chatter about Facebook changing the name to Meta and this concept of the Metaverse. And Fantasy 360 has been working in the virtual and augmented reality space and in these digital worlds for a number of years. So it's really exciting because there are things that they started building, a couple of years ago, that now there's a lot of attention and eyeballs on this sector, and everyone's trying to rush in. But the board, the team, and the IP and clients that Fantasy 360 have, we're super excited about because they've got such a first mover advantage in that. Obviously Game On, which went public in June, they're working on a number of really exciting projects, NFT games on the blockchain. They're focused on the whole play to earn space. So again, they've been in the space early. Now there's a lot of attention coming and eyeballs coming to it. It's really kind of validating their first mover advantage. So we're extremely excited about what they have in store. There are a couple of other projects too that, again, super bullish on. Creator.co. So we recently made an announcement on closing our follow-on investment. So Creator.co is a platform where there's over 110,000 creators globally on this platform, and it's where brands can connect with micro-influencers, on this platform. There are a number of really exciting things that we've been working with them on, on creator coins and social tokens. So it's a platform, an extension of what they already have, that would allow their creators to issue creator coins to their fan and audience to, again, generate revenue or income to be able to kind of grow and scale and their business even faster than they already are. And so Creator.co, what they're working on, super exciting. I mentioned the Bison Fund, and there's another altcoin initiative that we have. Again, is exciting for us because, again, these are exciting projects globally that we're getting access to, putting them together, and then offering them up to VST shareholders. And again, we believe that Web3 space is only going to continue to grow and scale. And then there are a couple of other projects going public next year. So Stardust Solar, which should be listing shortly, Turnium, Copilot, and there's one other one that's escaping me right now. But yeah, so there's a number of companies within the portfolio doing exciting things, and yeah, we're really looking forward to closing the year out strong and in a good 2022.
Yeah, that's going to be a big year. Maybe one sector of your portfolio, let's chat about the health aspect. So, for example, could you just give us a little bit of an overview and update? What are you guys active on specifically right now? Talk a little bit about the future as what you plan to develop in the digital health sector.
Yeah, and it sucks because we have so much going on that sometimes you forget to mention things that we're super excited about. And I'm glad you brought up the digital health space because, again, that is one of the sectors that there's a lot of momentum in, and we're excited about. Specifically, just a refresher. So Victory Score has a wholly owned subsidiary called Victory Score Digital Health, or VS Digital Health. The focus with that business is it's a digital health. You know, we built kind of a Shopify for healthcare, where we've put together the backbone of technology, all compliance and licenses, plugins to our pharmacy. We have a 503B pharmacy license in the U.S. Payments and everything to create a platform that nurses or physicians or anyone can build, kind of their own, digital health business off of this underlying backbone that we've created. And in 2021, this year, we acquired a company called Hydrate, and we launched a product called Discreet Care. Those two brands were for us to be able to kind of share and showcase what our technology could do. So we were excited about both of those, not just the underlying architecture and technology that we've built, which again, others can build off of and build their own, kind of digital health business. We've started to see, just as a side note, in the US, I hate, again, this term has been overused, but it's kind of like an Uber for nurses, where nurses in the US have started to use our platform to offer, at home and digital health services within their communities. But again, Discreet Care and Hydrate were examples of private label brands or direct-to-consumer brands that we were able to show the market what our technology could do. And now that it's been validated, I think looking into 2022, we're starting to see a number of other companies reaching out to, to build off of it. And just from a high level, like if you look at the US market, you've seen names like, Roman and Everlywell and 23andMe. And again, there's a number of these direct-to-consumer type of brands that have been built. And the majority of them don't own their own technology or their own pharmacy or their own products. And so we've started to see not only a massive interest in the asset that we've kind of built up, but we were also able to take that technology and license it to one of our portfolio companies, Victory Square Health in Brazil, which we own 20% of, to be able to be a first mover there in that market. So within the digital health space, I think like today and going forward, we see that space continuing to grow. We took the approach of first building the backbone, like I referred to the Shopify of healthcare, and allowing others to kind of build off of that, and then again take that IP and license it where we do have a bit of a first mover advantage on the customer side in Brazil.
And so do you see the digital health, the platform, the Shopify of healthcare, do you see that being a, obviously in Brazil, North American product? Do you think there's any specific countries you see where that's going to have kind of the most impact, the most success?
Right now, we're seeing the biggest impact in the US because, there are a few large players that are big, but the US market is so fragmented, and what we built allows for anyone to offer services in over 50 states. And so the challenge has generally been for a lot of proprietors, it's very expensive and it's a bit of a headache to go through that process. So we did go through that process for them, and we spent that money to be able to basically productize the entire thing. And just like you've seen, you look at Airbnb or Uber, and I know that there are those memes going around where, again, they don't, they're a technology business that's empowered these, this gig economy, these workers from all over to be able to offer kind of goods and services within their communities by being able to kind of leverage this platform. And I think that's kind of the approach we took. So the US market is the market where we're seeing the massive demand. And specifically recently within the nursing space, and the space is so big and it's continuing to grow. So I think the US market's going to be our number one market. We've started to see traction in UK as well, where we've had a lot of interest and increase from brands wanting to license our tech there. But I think for us, the US market from a B2B perspective, I think will be very strong for us. And then in Brazil, I think from a B2C perspective, because there aren't large players necessarily that have taken off there. And because through VSH, we've established relationships with regulatory bodies, we've got distribution, retail, a strong brand, boots on the ground. And we've really, because we're in that market, we understand kind of the legal framework. for being able to offer these types of services. I think those two markets, the US and Brazil, are going to be our big markets, because we have a big competitive advantage in both those spaces.
Awesome. Well, makes sense. To transition a little bit, let's talk about kind of the financials. I guess the first question is, it's coming up on financial reporting time. Do you guys have a timeline for when the next quarterlies will be released?
Yeah, November. Sorry, I think there's 30 days in November. Should be released end of this month. Yeah,
okay, so we're coming up.
End of November. Yeah.
End of November. And also, so something else we've been talking about, the possibility of research coverage. I think we've touched on that a couple of times. So do you have any update for us? Do you guys, is it guaranteed at this point that you'll get coverage? And, roughly when do you think we could see that?
Yeah, no, we have had coverage initiated on us, because I know we've been going back and forth with a number of analysts. I would anticipate this month again. So we're doing this interview in November. I would expect November, and if not November, early December. So within the next couple of weeks, I would anticipate seeing, kind of that first break of coverage.
And for anyone watching at home, of course, there's going to be a difference between the time that we film it and when we edit it and post it. So keep an eye on the news. It's very possible that at this very moment that you're watching it, it may even be available to you. So Shaf, to kind of wrap things up, we've covered a lot of ground. Is there any kind of final thoughts or final comments you wanted to make to your shareholder base before we wind this up?
Yeah, no, again, thank you for all the support. I think, keep an eye out for Victory Square. We've had a really busy 2021. We're expecting to, make a lot of noise in the last 6 weeks of the year, and close off the year strong and go into 2022 with a lot of strength. Again, number of catalysts from financials coming out at the end of this month. We've got the spinoff and listings of Stardust, Creator, Copilot, Turnium, all within the kind of, I would say, the next 90 days. We announced earlier there's a second dividend tranche of Fantasy 360. So keep an eye out for that announcement. It's going to be done before the end of this year. So it's going to be done shortly. So again, company's never been in as great shape. We're really excited about what we got going forward, and again, a lot of catalysts. So I'd say to all of our supporters, thank you, and keep an eye out, because we got a lot of heat coming.
I love it. And again, probably one of the only companies that I follow in the microcap space that has A, paid a dividend, and B, has earnings per share. That is a term that is basically void from all materials from a typical microcap company. So always impressive. Investors at home, do not forget, if you're Canadian, VST.CN is the ticker. If you are American, VSQTF. And of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We're going to keep making videos like this. And Shaf, can't wait to talk to you again. Thanks again.
Thanks so much.